Hello, good day everyone. So today I'm here to explain the task7 is lower.py and 7 main.py so we can have a clear understanding. So due to our previous tutorial that I have created, I'm very sure that we don't get the clear picture of that. So in this tutorial today, we are going to get a very clear, detailed picture of what is going on between these two files. So without further ado, let's get started. So now, if you cut 7 done is lower.py, so now these are the codes we have there. Actually, let me see the um, let me vi inside. So it's lower. Okay, so actually this is not part of it. So I get that from someone's repo, so that is not part of it. Now look at this. So this too is not part of it. So these are the main codes we're talking about. So I got this from someone repo, so just for explanation's sake. Now let's take a look at this code. Now the first thing was we're asked to create um, a function, or we're asked to create a little program that is going to detect if what the user provides uh, um, is lowercase. So you know that in our SS whatever we call it, our lowercase starts from what? 97, and that 97 stands for A. Then 122 stands for Z. So from A to Z. So now this is a declared function. We just declared a function def, which we just done, and the name of that function we have declared is known as is lower, and it accepts a parameter C. So I can call this multiple times. So for instance, if I get rid of uh, this, okay, let me just copy this and pull it out, so I'll explain from the function part of it. So I'm going to copy whatever we have here. No. So I'm just going to copy from whatever we have here to this place, and I'm going to copy that. So I am going to remove that too. So starting from here to here. So okay, let me delete the good. So that is it. Now if for instance we pass any value in this is lower than in C can receive whatever value at all. That's what we should have at the back of our mind. C can be anything. C can be A. C can even be a long statement. This C you see here can even be a number. So let us test it. For instance, this function was to be printing stuff to the screen. So I'm just going to say print. I'm going to print some things on the screen. So I am going to put let me say print whatever that was provided, so something like that. So let me put the format there, so dot format, then inside it I provide the C, so you can see that, right? Now this is what we are doing. Now I told you that this C can be anything. So anytime I'm calling this function, I want to call this function now. I need to go and put is lower. Can you see that? That means this is lower. I'm calling the function. Without calling the function, it will not run. So I need to call it. So I'm calling it from here. So I'm saying is lower. Then I want to provide a value for C. So I can say C is what? Um, let me say wasting, like that. So C stands for wasting. So whenever we run this file, we expect wasting to be printed on the screen based on the fact that this function is meant to print wasting. So I can put here in this place, my name is wasting. So I've called the name here. So I can call it multiple times. So let's call it once and let's see how it looks like. So now I'm going to call that. Let me list. So this is it. So I'm just going to put dot / then 7. So you can see I have here my name is what? Wisting. So you can see Wisting over here, right? So this was the work of that C. This is the only variable, the only parameter. This is where the parameter comes from. So I pass with Wisting. So C can, that C that we're talking about is this Wisting you are seeing here, because inside this thing I put in a value there. So now let me show you the advantage of using a function. I might decide to call this multiple times. I can put copy this and paste multiple times, and I can come here and make changes. Wisdom, I can come here and add something like that. Math, I can come here and add joy, like that. So I've called this function with different parameter because C can be anything. So I can come in here and put, and I want to run that and see. You can see now it's running multiple times. It's running my name is Wisdom, my name is Wisdom, my name is Mark, and my name is Joy. You can see that. So that is how a function works. Now the function is to tell people their name, provided that the parameter consists of their names. So I hope you get the picture there. Now that is for functions. Now for the if and else statement, that's the next thing I'm going to be explaining. So I'm going to get rid of these 4 lines. Yeah. So now I've deleted 4 lines. If you want to know how to use that, you can check on my tutorial on Vim. I've created a lot of stuff there, so you can get to see how we do search. Now I'm coming over here. Now I'm about to write a function that is going to be returning true or false based on the information provided. You know that I provided an information to that C now. Now I'm not going to be calling my function in this file. I'm calling my function. You know that in the first example we did, we called our function in this particular place, which is this is lower 7 is lower.py. So I'm not calling our function here. So now I can go back and check that stuff I copied, and I'm going to paste it right away. Actually, I don't know why my clipboard is empty. Good. So no. So let me remove this. Good. So I think it's better I write that myself. Now I want to write an if statement. So if whatever they are going to pass there, whatever the person is going to provide. Now, I don't know what the person is going to provide, but each letter you type on the keyboard have their SSCII keys. You understand? Is it SCASCII? They have their hexadecimal value. Now, what is the hexadecimal value of what they are going to provide? I don't know, but depends on what the person provides. So instead of that, based on the fact I don't know the number that the person is going to type or what the person is going to insert there, all I'm just going to do is I'm going to say ORD. Okay, I'm coming. Let me get rid of that. So I'm going to say ORD, then I'm going to put that. Now inside this ORD is a function, inbuilt function. The way we call this is lower, but this is lower is what we have created. But this ORD is inbuilt in Python, so that is why we're able to call it anywhere as far we are in Python environment. So ORD, then I'm going to provide my C inside there. Now, C can be anything. Remember, as we are providing wisdom and whatsoever, C can be anything. Now, I want to compare it. If whatever the person provides is equals to, so you can see that, or is less than equals to, so we know that A is 97. So let me explain. Maybe the person provides A, which is 97. That is what the person provides. A is 97. And if whatever the person provides is what? Less than or equals to less than, that simply means is either the person provide what is equals to 97 or less than 97. So now I want us to get the whole concept clear. Now, if I provide this, if it is less than 97, that means we are going to be having something like 96, 90, whatever. So I don't think it should be less than, it should be greater than. So I'm going to say, let me see, greater than equals to, something like this. So let me confirm. Yeah, very correct. So let me get rid of this. Good. Good. So now I'm saying this. So if it is greater than equals to 97, so it should be greater than 97 or equals to 97. That is the least, the minimum. You get? So the minimum should be what? 97 or greater than that. Anything that is less than is no more small letter. It is capital letters. So that is the first range we have created for it. Good. Now, after that, the next thing is whatever the person provide, it should be what? Less than or greater than equals to So let me put greater than equals to 97. And if you don't know the if you don't want to put a hard-coded value there, you can put ORD like this, and see input your what stuff in there, put small letter a inside. This function will still return 97 because I tell you ORD is used to return those value in their ASCII format. You understand? Now, what's the difference between, you see that in this one I added single quote, and I put A there, but in this one there is no quote. Now, note that this one is a variable that is coming from a function. It's coming from a function. It's a parameter. Why this one stands for normal A, this is a string like A, B, C, D. But this is not a string. This can mean anything. It's just like your variable. Your variable can mean anything. You can say num. Num is equals to something. And instead of it to be numbers, you can decide to be putting A, B, C, D. Meanwhile, you call your variable num. So C can stand for anything. So, but this one can't stand for anything. A is A as far as there's a string there. So this is just like providing data. Why this is just like holding different type of data. So this C can be anything. It can hold A, B, C, can hold 1, 2, 3, can hold any kind of data. But this cannot hold any kind of data. A is just like the answer. So it's just like me saying something like this. Just like me saying C then is equals to A. So this is a variable, is equals to, I'm assigning it to a string called A. So you get the whole concept. I even assign it to a number like 67. You understand? So that is it. So whenever you see it with a different color like this, just have it at the back of your mind that that is a value and not a variable. So now, so you can put 97 or you can write this to represent 97 because this will also print 97 on the screen. And so I'm not done with my condition. And this ORD again should be less than equals to, I can put 1, 2, 2 as Z. Or if I don't want to put 1, 2, 2 as Z, I can use the ORD function or method, whatever they call it, and put my small letter Z inside there. So that is the condition. So it must be whatever C is going to be, it should be what? Greater than 97, but it should be equals to 97 or greater than 97 or equals to 122 or less than that. It should not exceed 122. So if this condition is true, it falls in between the range of that number from 97 to what? To 122. Then I want it to return true. So that is when we return our true statement. So I want true to be returned. So as far that condition is correct, let it return true. Yes, it is a lower case. So else If that condition is not correct, if there is a problem, let it return false. So we don't care if you provide a capital letter A or you even provide a number, let it return false. As far as it is not a small letter, so we are going to put false there. So you get the whole concept now. So that is that for this. Now, whatever we are going to be running here is going to be returning either true or returning either false. That's the other type. This is known as Boolean. Boolean. Anything that returns true or false are known as Boolean value. So you can set something to true and you can set something to false. They are known as value. These are values. All these true and false are values. This A you see here is a value, and the Z you see here is a value. A and Z you see, they are all values. C is not a value. This C here is not a value. So you get that. So we can assign something to this, we can assign something to this, true, false, A and Z, but we cannot assign anything to C. So that you should get that. Because C does not hold any value except one is provided for it. Now, that is for that. So now, even if we run this file, nothing happens. Because true and false is what? Returned to us. So we not see any true. You don't expect it because we are not printing any value. So we don't expect anything to be printed on the screen. Except we provide any extra information. Good. Now, let's go to the other file, which is the main file. Note that the other file does not have any connection, doesn't have any connection with this present file we are working on. Now, look at this file. We have our declaration here. Now, what we have here is a variable. And let me explain furthermore what a variable is. Variables are memory cards used to store just a single information. It can only store one information, and that is the only information that is going to work with. And it cannot store more than that one information, except it is an array. Arrays can store more than one or two or three, as many information, or it is an object. Object can store a lot of informations. But variable can only store one information. So this is lower here is a variable, and it is used to store just a single information. And the only information is the access to the function we created in our previous file. Now, how did they have access to it? There is an inbuilt function in Python. Take a look at it. It is known as __import__ with a open and close bracket. Now, I'm going to remove everything we have here. So we are just going to be working with one. Good. This is the only one we'll be working with. No. Good. So now, let me zoom very, very well. Okay, good. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now, look at this is lower here. Now, I want to call the function in and say underscore underscore, then import like this, then underscore underscore. You can see it has changed color to know that it is an inbuilt function in Python. Now it has open and closing bracket, just as every other function used to do, like ORD or CHR we have discussed in our previous class. So now this is a function. Now what are we importing? We want to import a file. And what is the name of this file? The name of this file is 7 dash is lower. If you check it there, you check our list, you know that we have 7 dash is lower. So in int, because it is a value I am passing through this function, I need to put this in it. Sorry. I need to put this stuff in it, single quote or double quote, whichever one you want to use. I can use any one. Now inside this single quote, I'm going to put the name of the file. So 7 dash what? 7 dash is lower. Can you see that? I can even decide to change this is lower here to something like Wisting, because it is a variable. Variable can assume every or any kind of name. So now that I'm putting that file, you know that the name is 7 dash is lower.py like this. So it is not compulsory I add this py to it. So I can just remove it. Automatically, Python knows that this is a name of a file. So I don't need to add the .py. So maybe later on we can check if it works without the .py. Now, that is it. Now, if I leave it like this, do you know what? It's going to work, actually. But if, for instance, in this 7 dash is lower file, we have more than 2 to 3 functions. That means if we write only this line of code without adding the specific function we want to import, it's going to import all the whole functions. If we have 32 functions, it's going to import all those 32 functions that is inside that file. But we only create one function there, which is lower, and that is all. We will not create any other function apart from that function. So like this, if I leave it like this, that means I can call this Wisting, then dot the name of that function. You understand? So now look at our print statement. Print single quote or double quote, a is, then whatever value that was provided by our function. So now, in our format, I might decide that we want to get certain information. Let our format carry two information based on those true and false that I have returned. Due to the fact that I was returning true and false and I was not returning any tangible value, so that is why this format looks a bit different and weird. Now, take a good look. We have two options here. One is lower, and the last one is what? Upper. So lower and upper. You get that? Now, lower, in our format, let this curly bracket returns lower if is lower. Now, take a good look at this. Please, I want you to know that this thing is going to return true. This function that you see here, this is lower, is returning true. Are you with me? This thing we have here is returning true, while this one we have here is returning false. So if it is lower, let it return true. So this function stands for true. From this point to this point that I highlight, it stands for true. So it stands for true. Else, let output upper be printed. So whatever you see in the quote, in single quote, is what is going to be printed out. So I will explain what that particular function is doing. That's if and else. Why we have upper and why we have lower there. Now, if we run this, actually it's not going to work, because we needed to add some things on it there. Now, what are we going to add? We need to add our dot wisting. So I'm going to put wisting, because that is the name of our variable. Then dot is lower. So I'll use this opportunity to explain that in details. So I have WQ there. Now let's run that main.py. So we have 7, then we have dash main here. Okay, I've not compiled that. So chmod u plus x, then 7 main, like that, or py. Good. Now let me execute that to see what we have. 7 dash main. Good. Okay, so now we're having a tone up stuff there. You see that str object has no attribute format. Do you mean format? Okay, so maybe there's a grammatical error there. So format, yeah. So let me come and correct that. Insert format. So let's run that again and see. So there's another one again that is thrown here, which is on line 3 is lower. Okay, order, then. So as I was saying, we have ORD. So I think that's another grammatical stuff I need to correct there. So not actually in this file. I think it should be in the other file. So let me go ahead and correct that. So VI, then something like this. So ORD, yeah, look at it here. ORD. So I'm gonna replace that with D. Good. So let's run that again and see if we have any error. So you now see A here. Now it is printed now. A is lower on the screen. Despite the fact I changed whatever we have there, not like the previous code that was there. So I transfer. So now take a look at the main.py again. I can see the changes I've made there. Now I want to explain something in detail or in short. Now if for instance I come in this place, I get rid of this, then I come to this other line, then I added something like if. So we get to know what if statement is. Now if true, like this, then print okay, So let me show you how that stuff works. So let me create a variable. So let me call it bool, like this, boolean. So that bool is actually a function too. So boolean is equals to whatever value. So I can put true, like this. Now I'm going to remove this true here and put boolean there. Now I want it to be printing some stuff on the screen, so let it print true, like this. If I set this to true, then I'm going to have around for else. So I'm going to be printing otherwise false there, just like that. So I'm going to escape, then I'm going to run this. So now you see true is printed out on the screen. So whatever statement that is true is going to be printed out to on that screen, based on the fact that if statement is used to give out a true statement. But if I change this to false now, I come over here and I change this to false, like this. You see that else statement is used to print anything that is false. You can see false is printed on the screen. So you can see that. So is either printing true or is printing false based on the information I have provided to that boolean. So that is for that. Now let's bring the whole picture of whatever that is there into this place. So you know that I'm going to get rid of that stuff here, and I can come over here and change what we have here to our function. So I'm just going to call that function wasting dot. The name of the function there is import sorry, is lower, I mean, like that. Then inside it I'm going to provide something like a. Now if I provide small letter a, this line of code, this block of code here stands for true and not false. So if I escape and go ahead in printing that, now you see it returns true to me because it is a lower value. It returns true. Now if I change this to capital letter A, capital letter A, like this, and quit and run that, like this. So I'm going to hit, sorry, execute. You can see false is being printed here on the screen. We have false printed on the screen. So now you have a clear picture of what is going on there in the background. So it's just something like that. They implemented it into our code in that way that they say you don't need to understand. Actually, we need to have a clear understanding what is going on, because we cannot just be looking at codes like that and wondering what is going on. Understand? So I can even put this as my code, adding more if and else statement here, then start calling it one by one, like that. So that is that. So I hope you guys understand the whole concept of what is going on, especially on the previous stuff we have copied, or the stuff we have done. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.